you've been carrying so much that wasn't even yours to begin with. Expectation, pressure, people pleasing. And even though you're functioning, deep down, you're tired. Tired of feeling behind and tired of constantly pouring into others and leaving nothing for yourself. Aside from our achievements, we just want to feel good, to feel happy, to feel at peace. But nobody teaches us how to get there without losing our mind first. You don't just wake up one day with clarity. You get there after something shifts. Sometimes it's burnout, sometimes it's a big life change, and sometimes you just wake up with that feeling that you're just ready for more peace, more alignment, and more of that life that actually feels like you. Hi everyone, my name is Shani. I am a pharmacist, a real estate investor, and a content creator that focuses on mindset and leveling up. If you're here to grow, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Say no without feeling bad. I used to think saying yes made me a good person. So I said yes to everything. Going to things when I didn't want to. Agreeing to things I didn't have time for. Family favors. Even when I was drained, I was still trying to commit to them. Eventually, I learned that saying yes didn't make me kind. It made me resentful because I was constantly abandoning my own need to meet everyone else's. And honestly, most of the time, they didn't even realize I was stretched thin. I didn't even communicate it. But here's what I had to learn, and hopefully you can learn from me. A calm, honest no is more loving than saying yes and resenting it later. If it disrupts your peace, it's too expensive. So it's a hard no. You do not owe anyone an explanation for protecting your own energy. I've learned to say no without over-explaining, without spiraling into guilt. I don't force it. If I don't feel aligned with it and I don't think it's healthy for me emotionally, mentally, I will say no now. A simple sentence, I can't make it. That is the whole message. Those people who are asking you of favors, you're not always the solution. Remember that. And if someone is putting that pressure on you because they expect you to fix it or carry it for them, that's not kindness, that's control. And it's selfish. You are not a bad person for saying no. You are simply a person with a calendar and a capacity. You can't be everything to everyone else and still be something for yourself. Next, choose your advice wisely. Not everyone's opinion needs to be received. Anyone can say anything about anything, and people will always have something to say. A lot of the advice you hear from people, they're not actually advice. They're just opinions and projections. It's not wisdom. Some people speak from fear, not from experience. Just because they love you does not mean they understand your goals. If we would have listened to everyone tell us not to start real estate, not to start social media, and just stick with our W-2 because it's safe, our life would be so different. When my husband and I started our real estate journey, we truly didn't get the most support. And a lot of the opinions that we got were from people trying to protect us. You also can't listen to people who hasn't done what you're trying to do. And you can't fault them either. And I know this might sound kind of harsh, but for example, would you listen to Joe, who works at an ice cream shop, tell you not to do real estate? No. Would I ask Joe for his amazing ice cream recipe and how to make the best sundae? Yeah. But real estate? No. You can still listen to their opinions, but don't let those opinions change your route. Now I filter everything. My husband and I both do. We simply ask this: is this coming from someone who lives a life we admire? Do we look up to them? Do they get where we're trying to go? If not, I let it go. Next, choosing myself every single day. For the longest time, I thought being a good friend, daughter, wife meant putting myself last. If I wasn't always available, I was letting certain people down. Here's what I learned. If I'm not gonna prioritize myself, no one else is gonna prioritize me. One of our mentors asked my husband and I to rank the most important people from 1 to 10. So my husband and I are both, writing our list, and after we're done, he asked us, where did you guys put yourself? We looked at each other and we're like, we didn't. And he goes, number 1 on that list should be yourself. Meaning I should have put Shani, Tong should put Tong. And we're like, no, Tong's more important to me than myself. And my mentor's like, that is wrong. Because if you don't put yourself first, you cannot show up for anyone. You can't show up for your husband, your best friends, your family, if you are not loving yourself first. And for the longest time, I never understood that, because to me, it sounded selfish. But one day it just clicked. That exercise hit us so hard because we didn't put ourselves on that list. If we are not taking care of ourselves first, how are we gonna show up for anyone else? Every single day I choose myself, and that doesn't mean I'm selfish. It just means that my peace, my energy, my health, my happiness, that's up to me. The best version of me is the one that loves herself enough to rest, grow, and protect her peace so that I can truly love the people in my life without resentment, without burnout. Because once you start choosing yourself, your standards go up, your circle changes, your mindset changes, and life will feel so much lighter. Distancing myself from negative people. I used to think I could just tune people out or not let certain energy get to me. And over time, I started noticing how certain conversations would affect me. The people who constantly drag others, always complaining. Those aren't just harmless traits. That's an environment, a toxic environment. And the more you're around that and listening to that, the more you become that. Here's what I started paying attention to. How do I feel after spending time with certain people? Do I feel heavy? Do I feel off? Unmotivated? Or do I feel inspired, positive, happy? Are the people you're always talking to, are they more focused on other people or are they more focused on themselves? Are they quick to tear down anything that makes them uncomfortable? Are they gossiping constantly? Because girl, if they're gossiping to you about other people, guarantee you they're gossiping about you to others. You know what's the hardest part? Sometimes it's the people closest to you. Sometimes it's the people you love, family, friends, and you keep them close because it's all you've ever known. And it makes you feel safe in a way. It feels loyal, but in the process, you're slowly losing yourself. Now, you're not gonna make these people wrong because more than likely, these people are just trying to figure it out themselves. Maybe they'll come around in the future. But right now, you need to distance yourself from that type of negativity if you want your life to change. Also, no one's asking you to dramatically cut people off. Simply follow these 3 things. 1, stop oversharing. 2, stop expecting support. And 3, start making space for people who make you feel seen instead of small. You don't need to make a big announcement. All right, Karen, I'm cutting you off. No, don't do that. Just a slow fade, let it happen naturally. It's not beef, it's just boundaries. Protecting your energy doesn't mean you're better than everyone else. It just means you stop settling and you're making room for positivity in your life. Next, choosing the right partner. Choosing your significant other will literally make or break you. It makes sense. This is the person that you spend the most time with. You're living with this person. If they're selfish, immature, rude, or emotionally immature, guess what? That shit is gonna rub off on you. And we don't want that. Look, you can be the most grounded person, but if you are with someone who is a walking tornado, good luck staying calm. Here's what I had to learn. Their energy becomes your environment. Their values influences your everyday decisions. And their emotional maturity shows up in your peace, your confidence, and your mindset. You cannot thrive in a relationship that makes you shrink yourself. I am so happy to have found my husband. We've been together for 10 years now. But of course, I had to go through a few bad eggs before I found the one. We push each other to grow. We check each other. We support each other. And we're always building together. If you're with someone who makes you feel confused or unseen or insecure, you are not building a life. You're literally surviving one. It's better to be single than to be with someone that makes you feel small. And if you're asking, oh my gosh, Shani, why haven't I found the one yet? It's simple. It's because you're not focusing on yourself. Start taking care of yourself emotionally, mentally, physically. Life works in really weird, strange ways. One day, when you're so focused on yourself, your perfect partner will magically show up. Next, taking imperfect action. You will never feel ready. I know, it sucks, but that's just how our brains work. They're designed to keep us safe, and anything new, that feels unsafe. Our minds can be such a beautiful thing, and sometimes it does a little too good of a job to protect us, because then we never start what we've always wanted. Here are 3 things I'm always trying to remind myself. Confidence does not come first. action does. That confidence eventually follows after you start doing something. Your brain will always try to talk you out of discomfort. It's doing its job. And growth never happens in your comfort zone. It happens when it's in motion. Let's talk about when my husband and I first jumped into real estate about 5 years ago. We didn't know shit about real estate. He was the one that was like, hey, let's pull the trigger. And I'm like, hold up, I need to do some research. Honestly, if it wasn't for him, I probably would still be doing research. Here we are years later with so much more properties now. But back then, we didn't have the answers. We didn't have a contractor. We didn't have a lender. How were we even gonna buy the house? I don't know. But we did know that if other people can figure it out, so can we. And just know, things do not always go as planned. One of our projects that was supposed to be a 2-month project, it turned out to be a 12-month project. It was so stressful, but at the end of the day, we learned so much from it. I can definitely talk more about it in another video, but I don't wanna go too deep into this, but just know things don't always go as planned. Even if it sets you back, you're still farther than if you would have never started. The point of that story was we learned through action, through messy action, sometimes through failure, but definitely not through endless planning, because you can never be truly ready. And I just wanted to say, if you're watching this, I know you're someone who is always striving for more. Otherwise, you would not be watching a stranger telling you how to become better and better your life. So don't wait until you're confident. Move while you're scared. Move even if you make mistakes. You can clean it up along the way. These changes did not happen overnight. They came from real experiences, real exhaustion, and finally choosing myself. If even one of these talking points spoke to you, I hope you give yourself permission to take one small step today. You don't need a full plan, you just need to start. Let me know your story. I would love to hear what you guys are thinking and what you guys have gone through. And if any of this resonated with you, please subscribe, leave me a comment, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.